Hi, in this week's video I'm going to give you an update on this, our Peloton Tread, after 3 months of ownership. I'll split this review into chapters and you'll hear about our progress, the maintenance involved in looking after this tread, our safety concerns and also our final thoughts. Let's get cracking. Over the last 3 months we've done 87 runs on this tread. I've done 44 runs and my wife and children have done 53 runs between them. My teenage children aren't allowed on this tread anymore. I'll talk about that later. I've mainly stuck to 20-minute runs. Now the reason for that is I'm not a runner and I stand by comments I've made in previous videos that, you never see a happy runner, do you? When you see them out in the street, none of them are smiling. So I do really enjoy running on the tread, but I'm also a severe asthmatic. So I've got about 60 to 65% lung function, which is the equivalent of a lady in her early 80s, just to give you a reference point. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because I want to talk about the progress I've made on this tread. So if I filter here and go classes, running, 20 minutes, beginner runs, and I start here with the easiest. Now, this is the easiest run they do. So this is rated by the members who've taken this run at 5.5 out of 10. Now, what I did was I started with this easy run, and then every time I completed a 5.5, I would move on to the next run, which was a 5.6, and I worked my way up, just adding 0.1, 0.1. And I realized I was going further and further down, so I started filtering by hardest each time I got on the tread. And you can see here that I managed to get it up to this run. If we look at what it's been rated at, this one's rated at 7, which then led me to think, well, maybe I can start doing intermediate classes. And if I search here by the easiest, you can see that now I'm able to do intermediate runs and I'm able to complete runs that are a 7 when I couldn't complete runs that were a 5.5. And this is 100% attributed to the tread, but more importantly, the quality of the instruction and coaching that you get from the Peloton instructors. So if, like me, you're having to work perhaps twice as hard to get half as far, there will be something for you on this tread. So that could be walking, it could be hiking, it could be jogging, it could be running. I didn't realize that I could run at different speeds, and I probably have never tried that before. But with the coaching on here, I realised that I've got a good walking pace, kind of like a shuffling pace and a jogging pace, and also running and a sprinting pace. These are things that are kind of new to me as a runner. And it is very, very enjoyable. So a 20-minute run won't feel like a 20-minute run because the instructors are constantly talking to you, giving you encouragement and also coaching. I've gone from not calling myself a runner at all to now calling myself a runner, but kind of still tentatively. So I'm really not a natural. I'm not really built for it. I'm very kind of like top heavy, and I'm not going to show you my legs because I've just neglected them over the years. If you saw me and my 10-year-old son standing next to each other and you just saw our legs, the only difference is the amount of hair on them. Poor kid's like a werewolf. For a more casual run, you've got these guided runs where an instructor will lead you around a place like this, looking lovely. What I would also recommend is the programs. So if you go on programs, you've got these. So these two are fairly new and very, very good. So this one is called You Can Run. It's an 8-week class. You can see it's 2 days a week. There's 16 classes and it will take you 20 to 30 minutes a day. When you click on Start Program, it will bring you up the first class, and then when you've done that, it will unlock the next class for you. So here's the first class. You can either do it or you can skip it, but you can see there's a padlock here on the second class. The other thing I really like is if you want to do a boot camp class, which is partially running, partially weight training or body weight, you can screencast directly from the tread to a nearby TV, which just makes it a little bit easier to do rather than having to lift weights and kind of look around to the tread screen. One thing I would recommend, especially if you're an Apple Watch user, is a heart rate monitor. So I'm either on the original bike I'm either doing a floor workout here or I'm on the tread. Now, none of these have got heart rate monitors. And just below my speaker here, I don't know if you can see, I just have this device, which is a little heart rate monitor called a Watch Link. And it's just the most amazing little device because I don't like wearing heart rate monitors. My Apple Watch is already an excellent heart rate monitor. It's just not compatible with the tread or the standard bike. But when I walk into my gym, let me show you what I do. So as I walk into my gym, I just open it up and depending on what workout I'm doing, I just tell it. When I start my run, let's just pick a 20-minute run of 20 minutes. Let's just do that one. So you can already see that my heart rate is on the bike, on the tread already. And then the good thing about this is now Peloton have a Strive score, which is here. So there's 5 zones here. And it's telling me that because of my age, I'm at 56% of my max heart rate. So when I start running, I'll go up through the zones. And the good thing here is you get multipliers. So the higher the zone, the more your score goes up, but it doesn't go up any more in level 5 than it does in level 4, which is really important because there's not much point spending lots of time in level 5. However, on this side of the screen, if anybody else is wearing a heart rate monitor, you'll be able to see a little idea. If you look at this person here, they're green currently. So if I was right behind them, you can see I'm green, that person's amber. If I was right behind them and I was, say, in level 4 and they were still in level 1, I would know that I probably wouldn't want to overtake them. But if they were in level 5 or 4 and I was still in level 2, I'd know that I could perhaps push myself up the leaderboard a little bit. So the Strive score is just meant to be for my own personal use, but because I can see what other people are doing around me, it does make me a little bit more competitive, which I really like. And then after your run, you get some really good data. So in this run, for instance, I came 3,500 out of 4,700. So it was quite a tough run and I wasn't particularly pleased with how it went, but my output was good and it was 1.67 miles. But what I did notice was I spent too much time in zone 4 and 5. But because of not being able to breathe that well, it does mean that I'm at max effort for over 80%, or if you count these two, over 80% of a run, which is actually quite tiring. And in an ideal world, I would rather spend a lot more time in level 4 than level 5. And if I show you this cycling workout, I know this video is about the tread, you can see that I came in the top 25% here. But looking at my heart rate, it was in a much better place through the duration of the ride. I only spent 12% in that very top level. I think that really shows the difference between cycling and running. I think running is by far the best way to get fit. However, it is probably one of the hardest ways to get fit, especially hard on the body if you're not a natural runner. So, but the flip side, the good news is I'm blessed with some wonderful friends, but I'm also cursed by the fact that all of my friends seem to be about 6'5" and I'm about 5'7". So I'm normally just trotting behind them like one of those little handbag dogs. But now when we go out, I can just keep up with them, thanks to the tread. So next I want to talk about safety concerns. Now, I think the elephant in the room with the tread, which is this one, and the Tread Plus, which I've never seen, I think it's only sold in the US, is the safety. And a lot of that comes down to the fact that these are big, heavy, almost commercial type equipment. And there are kind of risks involved to using them. I had an incident on the bike. Now, when I'm working out in here, the door is locked, but my wife came in with our puppy, our new puppy, and the dog, it went straight under the pedal. Now, thankfully, well, at the time I was doing it at 100 RPM, and it's got quite a heavy flywheel on the front of that bike, and I just clipped the dog. So it could have been a lot worse. The dog was fine, it just ran off. But safety around these devices, especially after recent events, I mean, I can't really stress it enough, to be honest. So today is May the 11th, 2021. Now, and that's the reason why you've not seen me running on this tread. I'm just talking around the tread, because currently Peloton have told me not to use it. This video will come out, I think, in July. The reason being is I'm slightly ahead of my videos, and B, I don't think there's much there's so much plus publicity around the Tread at the moment. I'm not sure it's a good time to release a video, especially as I actually think it's a very good product. So Peloton currently have recalled, I think, 125,000 Tread Pluses and 6,500 of the new Tread. I think people have either got the option to keep them, the Tread Plus, and have it resighted if they feel there's a better place in their house to have it, or with the Tread, the Tread, you can either as well, you can have a refund as well, or you can have 3 months off your membership and then wait for them to develop a fix for it. I'm going to talk about the safety problems with each one because they are actually different on each Tread. I'm going to show you 2 videos. So as I've mentioned, this is chaptered, and this chapter will be called videos. Just go to the next chapter if you don't want to see them. The first is from Sky News, and you can see here that a child and his sister are in a room with a Tread. The sister's managed to get the Tread working, and the Tread has actually pulled the boy's arms underneath and he's pinned to the back of the Tread. Eventually he gets pulled under the Tread, but thankfully, as you can see, he manages to get himself out and he leaves the room, probably to go and find his mum, I imagine, or his dad. The second video is a ball here, and you can see this ball just gets knocked into the back of the Tread. It lifts the whole Tread up, thankfully burst before the occupant and the Tread go through the window, possibly. But you can also see there's a child in this room. And if we look in slow motion, you can see it again. And it just shows how powerful these machines are to have in the home. Both those incidents were with the Tread Plus and not this, the Tread. But if you look behind here, the problem with the Tread has been here. Now, there's 2 screws that hold this screen on, and this screen weighs 10 pounds, basically. And the screws that hold it on are actually tiny. I can't see how they thought that would work. And also this arm here, people have reported that this arm, the screws that hold this arm on, have also been coming loose. The other screws are up here, the ones that are the main culprits. So I think this is isolated to the UK Treads, and also I think some in Canada might have been released, maybe a very few in the US. But this weighs 10 pounds, and imagine being in a run or a sprint. When this falls off, it will either go one of 2 ways. It will either drop onto the floor, hit the belt and drop onto the floor in front, which I think is the best case scenario here. But worst case scenario is, and imagine this, a 10-pound TV basically falls on the treadmill while you're at full pelt and gets catapulted into you. So, I mean, I like this channel to be a happy place, but this is, I mean, a serious safety concern. I'm not on the Tread, but it is set to 5 miles an hour. And I want to show you the back of the Tread because I'm not sure what the back of the Tread Plus looks like, but I think this would be actually quite difficult to get underneath. But what I will do is I'll show you underneath it. Let's see if I can slide the camera right underneath, and hopefully you can see what's underneath here. And if there's enough light, hopefully you can see that that belt is very much moving. And hopefully you can see that if something did go under the Tread, then, I mean, potentially it's a very serious issue, isn't it? I think it's opened the world's eyes up to the fact that modern home fitness equipment, and this, I'm not saying this is an exclusive issue to the Tread. I don't know enough about other brands to know whether they're the same underneath or they have belly pans, for example. But when we first got our bike, for instance, and also the Tread, we were very happy to say to the kids, look, just do a mile on the Tread today because you're not going out because it's raining, for instance. Whereas now we are 100% not. Moving on to maintenance. So maintenance of the Tread is really, really easy. So with the belt, there's 2 holes. There's one there and one there. And if you feel like the belt's slipping, so this is slipping very slightly. I don't know if you can hear there. You just do a quarter turn on these 2 and then it tightens up for you. Other than that, you just need to oil the belt once a year. And with the machine itself, I just wipe it down with a damp cloth regularly. I do have a different damp cloth, and a squirter though for the screen. So this only ever wipes the screen. The reason being is if you get any sort of grit in your cloth and scratch your screen, then that will annoy you forever. So my advice is use a separate cloth for the screen than you do for the rest of the tread. So I think this is a long video. I don't know, I haven't edited it yet. If you're still here, thanks. So in conclusion, I'm angry about the screen issue. So when I check my screen, if you watch my videos, you'll know that one of my screws was half out. And for me, it's a little bit like if you've had a car, you know, if you have a car and that car breaks down and then that car gets fixed. So logically, you know that that car is as good, if not better, than it was before. But emotionally, do you trust that car? I'll be keen to know what you think, because every time a car's broken down on me, I very quickly then wanted to get rid of it, because even though I know it's now fine, I just don't trust it. I would say though, if you're buying a brand new tread now, then the issues that the tread has had will be resolved. Peloton cannot afford for them to still be there. The only risk I would suggest is if you're buying a second-hand tread, for instance, and it's one that's not been recalled to be properly repaired, and the owner's perhaps done it themselves, like I have, but Peloton have since told me to stop using it, then potentially you might have a problem. But if you're buying a brand new tread today, when this video goes out, if they're back on sale, I am as confident as I can be that Peloton would have resolved this issue, because whoever thought that those screws were fine, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. You've seen those screws. It's obvious to you and I that they're not the right tool for the job. However, to finish on a positive note, as I've mentioned, this is a phenomenal piece of fitness equipment. If you've got the bike, it's very much the same quality as the bike. If you're new to running, it's very simple to operate. It's just intuitive. As a piece of fitness equipment to improve your cardiovascular health, I mean, I just think it's superb. I really can't fault it. Well, I hope you found this video useful and I hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry it was a long one. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. This channel is about laid back home fitness. And if you haven't liked this video already, then please do so. I'll put some more videos around me. And until next time, see you soon.